Oh, hey, Fern. You're so silly. All right, here's your scratches. Hey, y'all. Hey, little lovelies. Bosco, what's up, buddy? Hey, handsome. Oh, we have so many pumpkins. Look at this. They're all over the place. Oh my goodness. Once a week, we have Joe, our friend Joe. He's been on videos multiple times. He comes out here, he works here 1 day a week. And he, Wes, and Jeremiah have been working with the horses. Joe grew up on horses and is just absolutely brilliant at training them. And he's out there right now. Our pastor came by and they're just kind of watching, and Joe's explaining the way that it works. It's so fascinating to watch. Wes has this young Mustang, Paisley. She's been out here on our pasture for the last year plus. And she'd never been ridden before. She was born in the wild. And a lot of what happens out west, where there are still a lot of wild horses, because of development and stuff like that, a lot of times they're in situations where they can get hurt, and a lot of those end up getting adopted out to people. And Wes got Paisley from a rescue. Joe has started working with her, and so this is her 10th time to be worked with, like, ever, and he's riding her, and it's really, really cool. It's fun to watch. And these guys, on training days, they come in and they have to wait their turn to be trained. And they know their drill, so they all come in and they get to eat in the barn and hang out and wait. Hey, lady. Hey, lady. So Lady here, oh, she's gonna come check my camera out. Okay. Lady, she's actually going to a new home soon. She has an interesting story, and I'm going to tell it with a little bit of nuance to just protect the privacy of her previous owner. So we ended up with Lady because when we went to buy one of the other horses, Jeremiah got there, and the woman that had them just ended up kind of opening up to Jeremiah and Wes. And I will say Jeremiah's kind of one of those people that happens sometimes. Like, he'll just be out talking to strangers and they end up just kind of opening up and sharing like some really deep stuff. I always think it's funny when that happens. It happens to my cousin Amy all the time too. People just like tell their life stories to her in Walmart. That does not happen to me, but I think it's because I'm kind of introverted, so when I'm in public I don't really like make eye contact with a lot of people. Anyway, this woman ended up kind of sharing with Jeremiah her backstory, and basically she was in a really rough situation in her relationship, and she was looking to get out of the situation that she had been enduring a lot of really hard things. I don't want to go into a lot of detail just because when you have such a big platform, I like to give people the ability for anonymity. She had Lady, who was a horse she'd had for a really long time. Lady was 17 whenever we got her, and she was a retired thoroughbred, and this woman was she was selling a few of her horses, but she was in a pretty desperate situation, and Jeremiah basically offered to buy her. But when we got her, within like a year or so, she actually has lost the sight in her right eye, and we talked to the vet. We've had her very thoroughly vetted, and we just decided that it was best for her to be retired, to not try to ride her and just let her live out her days. We knew when we bought her that we were not buying like some horse that was gonna be our family riding horse. We were very aware of what we were getting into. It was very much, Jeremiah was just moved in compassion to help this woman. It was an interesting thing because at first I was like, "Why did you just get taken and buy like a really old horse that we don't need?" But then we actually had it confirmed by a couple of local people that knew that situation, what was going on. So we very gladly have had this old horse on our pasture, knowing that she wasn't going to suit our needs, but we had kind of made a commitment to make sure that she was going to like live out her days in security. So we were just like kind of committed to that. We were like, she can be a companion. Well, I have a local friend who we talked about this recently, about how Lady was just basically in retirement, and this friend reached out and said, "I actually have pastures. I would love to have a horse on my pastures and just have a companion and a friend. I'm not looking to ride, but somebody I can feed apples and carrots over the fence situation, you know, like just a farm animal. You know, she's bought this farm and it just feels like a really good match to her. We know this person is like a really solid person. So Lady is going to be going to her retirement home, and we'll keep in touch. I mean, we're friends with the person who's getting her. And I feel really good about it because I know Lady's gonna get a lot of hands-on attention. That's what she's used to. She's used to being a woman's horse, you know, and being handled by a woman. And here it's mostly these men running these horses, which is fine. This is very rude of her, what she's doing. Horses putting their butt to you is rude. Hey. I always think with animals, I'm like, does she know what I'm talking about? Are you gonna come back to me and talk to me? All right. Now this is Haley. So this is the horse that Maya got for me. And she's really sweet. She does have a couple issues with her feet. She has to have shoes on her front feet, but she's great for riding. And so she's one that we're feeling pretty good about. Boss over here is kind of a punk. He's not. He's a very sweet horse. He is just a lot of horse. So he is not for an unexperienced rider. So Joe has gotten on him and like worked the cattle and stuff. We're actually going to be looking for a couple more like trail horses that we can put anybody on, because obviously like when we want to get to the point that we're trail riding. We have so many dirt roads out here, we can do a lot of riding. And then eventually, you know, as we fence in next door these big pastures, our hope is to be able to really like work the cattle on horseback. And so far the guys do. Joe and Wes have both done a lot of cowboy work, and they've used Bosco and Haley, but they're really not cattle horses. So I don't know, we're in the very early stages of doing the horse thing, and we have a lot of dreams for it. It's a very expensive thing to be in, so it's gonna go a little slow. It's gone slow up until this point, but it is really cool. And I just love having them. I love just, you know, bringing them treats and hanging out with them. It's like when they're barned up like this, I always come out and spend some time with them. All right, I'll bring you guys out here and show you the riding lesson that Paisley's getting.
Are walking, but they know the difference between that lope to stop and that lope to walk. And it's just because you taught them different. That's it.
That's improved. Last time I watched you turn her to the inside, she bucked you out.
And what's crazy, so talking about that, the last time, that wasn't the last time, it was a few times ago, probably the fifth ride.
Yeah.
I had just started getting her to lope, and I was like, oh, she's getting there, but she's not. And we were all hanging out here and just talking, and I was congratulating how good she was doing. I was like, man, she's doing so good. This is why I love Colts, blah, 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 blah. And then I turned her to the inside, and because she had a little anxiety on this side, she didn't realize I was turning her that fast, and she freaked out and blew up. And then she fell on the ground, actually. Wow. So I just stepped off of her because she was laying down pretty much. So when I got on her the next time, she was very eerie on this side. Like she was like when I'd come over, she's like, what are you doing? So like when I would pull her head, she's like, wait, I remember what happened last time. So it took like, a little bit of.
You remember what happened?
It took a little bit of trust for us to get back to where I could pull her. I could ask her for the side and she not be afraid. That was good. She's starting to plant that hind end, and I didn't ask for her leg. I was asking for hind end. She did really good on that one.
Y'all, I just came inside. Jeremiah called me. I was out there watching them at the round pen, and he had run in the house for something. And he called me and he was like, hey, were you cooking this morning? And I was like, yeah, you know, I cooked some this morning. And because he's been outside since really early. He's like, did you burn something? And I was like, no, I didn't burn anything. I was just heating up some chicken and stuff. He's like, there's definitely something burning in the house. So I came and ran up here and came in, and sure enough, I don't think you can probably see it on the camera, but I turned the air conditioning on. It's cool outside, but you know, we haven't been running the unit because it's been comfortable enough in the house to not need it. I turned it on because the whole house was filled with smoke, and you know, we went first because we have a bearded dragon. We went and checked the light because that would be, and then I have a heater in my bathroom that we went and checked. And I was like, what about the dryer? The dryer's running, I had laundry going. And I opened the dryer and just smoke just started coming out of our dryer. And there wasn't anything actively like in flames, but I'm really glad that we walked in the house when we did. So we unplugged it and took it outside, you know, turned the breaker off and took the dryer outside. Jeremiah had to leave. That's why he came in the house, because he had to go to the chiropractor. So he's going to take it apart when he gets home. But oh my goodness, that is so scary. I'm really thankful that he came in and found it. I'm assuming that there's probably like lint buildup or something, you know, or just something, but that's really scary. Just close call. Definitely shook me a little bit. I'm gonna need a second. All right, I'm stepping out of the house for a moment. Jeremiah's gonna figure out the dryer situation. I assume that it's lint buildup. I know that you're supposed to clean out your lint, like I'm gonna say it all wrong. You know, the tubing, the exhaust from the dryer, you're supposed to clean that out, I think every 6 months or so. And I imagine we probably should do it more frequently because we have a lot of laundry. I mean, just having, you know, 5 boys at home, and then on top of that, like the farm. I mean, whenever you do work like this routinely, there's just a lot of clothes to wash. And when you have a pond and kids and mud, things just tend to get pretty gnarly. So I guess that's what happened, is just lint buildup. Either way, it's very sobering, something like that. And I'm just thankful that it wasn't worse. Anyway, speaking of fire, I'm gonna show you guys this. Well, I'll just show you and then I'll tell you. So this wasn't accidental, this was on purpose. It's still really warm out here. You can see we missed some pumpkins. Should probably gather these up and feed them to the animals. Here's some more green pumpkins. So this is our in-ground garden. Of course, it was really grown over with everything that had frozen and was dead. And we put chickens over in that in-ground garden, and we have the chicken flock over here ready to go in this one. Steady there. But talked to Will, and he's like, I think we should burn that. I think it would help, you know, if we char all that stuff. It's just gonna feed the soil, and then we can put the chickens in after it's burnt, and then they'll scratch it all in, and then they'll dig up grubs and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yesterday I was working in the kitchen. Will came in, and, you know, we were talking about it. I was like, okay, well, we can burn it first, and then we'll move the chickens onto it. He's like, you want me to get on that? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. You know, I'm in the kitchen working on processing peppers, and I'm standing there, and I look up, and just this massive plumes of smoke just start going by the house. And our house is all the way on the back corner. It's like 800 feet from here. It's pretty far little distance. So I look out at, like, this is just massive. And like Jeremiah and Wes are heading over here. Will's like going back and forth, you know, trying to keep it all contained with the hose. Anyway, it was funny. I got a message from Will like right after that, all caps. I had it under control. So this is burned, and the chickens are going in next. Where actually they locked them up overnight, so they're gonna be moving them in here in just a little bit. There are a few pumpkins that were left out here. I'll probably just leave them and the chickens can get to them in here. And once the chickens have been on this space for, I don't know, we'll let them in here for a while and keep an eye on it. I don't know how long it'll take, some weeks. We'll cover this up and tarp it just to keep weeds from growing. This is gonna be the potato patch next year. And then over here is, yeah, the chickens are doing their work over here. It's amazing to me how quickly they clear spaces out. Oh, y'all, are you ladies laying around? Having a little dust bath? They're all buried down into the soil. That's funny. What do you think? Spa day? Well, friends, it's definitely been an eventful day. I've spent a ton of time in the kitchen this week. I haven't really been out doing much farm stuff. I've been really still just trying to trying to finish the last vestiges of the garden because we harvested so much. I mean, I think I harvested like 40 gallons of peppers before the frost came in and shortly after. And so I've just been steadily working on that and trying to embrace this change of season the best I can. I did a podcast talking about just kind of like cultivating cozy and embracing the change. If you don't listen to our podcast, they're on like Apple and Spotify and anywhere podcasts are. It's called Roots Refuge. So that's there if you're looking for something new to listen to while you clean your house or drive or whatever. Lot of potential out of control fire the last 24 hours, a little more than my nervous system likes. But here we can be thankful for houses not burning and things not being worse and staying in control. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today and all the days that you do. I bless you. Until next time.